Okay, so this video is over a month late because I filmed it the day after I got back from Austin and I never edited it. I think it'd be better. I think I said yesterday in it, so a month ago would be a better update for it. So this is the video about me volunteering at the ATX TV Festival in Austin, Texas over a month ago. Sorry it's late. I'm just lazy and I kind of forgot about it as well. But so I'm going to talk about my experience with ATX and also some of the people I saw and met. Working with this festival, which is it's sort of a small but also big festival, and it was so much fun. Like, I had so much fun doing it. It was talking to people and volunteering with people who love television as much as I did. With these people, they had watched some of these shows as much as I did. I had met a girl who had seen One Tree Hill probably close to or around the same amount of times I had seen One Tree Hill. And I was just like, wow, I'm not the only one. Okay. And then we talked about, like, sometimes we're in Austin, politics. That was fun. I had 5 different shifts on 4 different days. So the first day, I was in charge of the merchandise store. I basically was in the registration area, and so after people registered, if they wanted to buy merch like t-shirts, koozies, bandanas, posters, things like that, that was there to sell. And I worked alone. It wasn't that busy. There was a panel going on in another room in that same area, so it kind of slowed down a couple times, but I actually really enjoyed it. It was really fun. The next day though, I had a full day, which was bad because the night before, spontaneously, we decided to go to a Shania Twain concert because I grew up with Shania Twain. So my parents raised me on, and she was in town the same time we were, and we got tickets on the way up there. Or they were really good seats. I was like on my feet and exhausted after that, and then the next day I was on my feet all day. And so the first half of the morning, so from like 8 a.m. to like 2 o'clock, I was working at a lounge where they had 2 panels going on while I was there. And the panels they had were, in the morning, it was a pitch to punchline, so it had producers and people asking questions on how to get a show from pitch to getting a punchline to pitching the show and how to pitch a show and all that. And then later, before I left, they had a pitch competition. So they had people coming in and doing this competition, and they were the finalists. And so they pitched their show ideas to about 6 producers from different networks. And like Disney, the creator of The Blacklist, HBO, I believe. I can't remember really that much. And I got to sit there and listen to some of these, and I had to help with some of them. And I had a time at one point, so I was front row sitting watching them. And some of these are really good and like really hilarious, and they pick one at the very end to get down the road to create into a show. But it takes so long to create a show. That's what I learned. I learned a lot during this because there was a show that they were screening there called Sharp Objects, which stars Amy Adams on HBO, and it took 12 years to make. It's not that easy. It's a long process. So they ended up picking the show that, it wasn't my favorite, but they seemed to like, and so I was like, okay. I mean, when I was listening to it, it was good, but there was one that was before it that was like insanely funny, and they told her like, okay, you need to make that into like a web series, do it, because that is hilarious. I'm like, yes, please, because I will watch that. I was laughing through the entire thing. I forgot to like tell her, oh, you have this much time left. She only had like 3 minutes, I think. But I did that, and then from like 2:30 to like 6 o'clock, I did Paramount Theater. So at the theater, they were doing a live table read reunion for the cartoon show Adult Swim? I'm not sure. No, I think it's just cartoon show Futurama. Now, I had heard of Futurama because I had seen 1 episode in history class in high school. That's it. And also I'd heard of the show, and it was a meme. There's a meme of it before memes even existed. So like this guy, yeah. And there were so many people lined up for it. I worked outside handing things out to people and giving them their tickets on the way in. And then once everything calmed down, like, you can go watch it if you want. I was like, okay, I've never really seen the show, but this would be cool to see. It was funny. It was really funny. But I learned that show has been on for like since 1999, and it had been canceled 3 times and like on and off air. The next day though, I had transportation ride along. So I was going with people who were drivers to either pick up somebody or drop them off or things like that, and I would just help them with, like, if somebody's in the airport, they can drive and I could just go in and hold up a sign and all that. So the first time around, we picked up a guy from a hotel who used to produce on Shameless, and his name was Davey Holmes. In the car with his manager. It was a short ride, that's it. And then they didn't need me, so they put me somewhere else. Then as I was waiting to get assigned another thing, I passed by going up the stairs because they had just finished a panel for the show The Bold Type, which looks amazing. It's on its second season on Freeform, but I have yet to watch it, but it's like a show that's like perfect for me. I saw Alicia D and Megan Pahey from The Bold Type. They are two of the three main girls. I was like, oh my gosh, but they didn't like freak me out. It wasn't like starstruck. I was like, okay, cool. Then when I waited for another assignment, I was waiting, and they were doing photo shoots for the show One Day at a Time that was about to have their panel. I've seen 5 episodes of One Day at a Time, but also the people in that show are so iconic, and I have seen them in so many things. I saw like the main people. I just started freaking out. Like internally, I was watching and I was like, holy crap, that is yeah, whoa. Like I saw Justina Machado, who is on One Day at a Time, but I know her more than anything on Jane the Virgin. She plays Darcy. Spoiler alert, that is Rogelio's baby mama. So I watched her in Private Practice and everything. She's been in ER, she's been in 6 Feet Under. I freaked out, but then I freaked out even more because I saw the legendary freaking Rita Moreno. If you don't know who Rita Moreno is, who are you? Like, oh my gosh, Rita Moreno is a legend. Like, I loved her. One of my favorite movie musicals is West Side Story. Like, I remember watching it in theater in middle school and high school and being like, I remember watching it so many times and never getting tired of it. Like, the only movie musical that is like old that I can enjoy is West Side Story and Funny Girl. That's it. So if I saw Barbra Streisand, I'd flip out. But like Rita Moreno playing Anita in West Side Story, I was just like, oh my god, it's the legendary Rita Moreno. I'm gonna freak out internally. Like, oh my god! I was like, holy crap, that was Rita, that was freaking Rita. I had a moment.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
But I saw them and I was just like, oh my gosh. That's when I got like starstruck. I was like, holy crap. So they didn't have anywhere for me to go for the ride along after that. So they put me in the downstairs of the hotel into the Hulu lounge, where there was only allowed to be press and industry and driver security, venue managers, panelists and sponsors and all that allowed in there. And so I was put in the back where I would click in people and I would allow certain people to come in. It was in a restaurant, so that restaurant didn't open until like 5 o'clock, so people were trying to get in and like, no, the restaurant's not open. And then I was near the area where like the hostess was, and I had for an hour in had no one to talk to, and I was standing there. I was just like bored, and then there's like the hostess was there and we started talking for a while, and she was real nice and kept me entertained. But a couple people passed by me and it was amazing. So I helped open a door for Niecy Nash. If you don't know who Niecy Nash is, that's Niecy Nash. I watched her on a show Clean House like when I was a kid, but then I watched her on Scream Queens, but she was there to promote her show Claws. With the whole entourage and all, I saw Maddie Hassan, who was there to promote her show Impulse, which you had probably seen for the past month ads on YouTube for. But she was in the ABC Family show Twisted. I recognized her from that. Then, oh yes, then another like starstruck moment for me. Marlene King passed by me. If you don't know who Marlene King is, Marlene King is the executive producer and creator of Pretty Little Liars. Yeah. I just saw her and I was just like, yeah, that's the woman who tortured us for years. Find out who frickin' A is, and you know what? I was pleased, and I was just like standing there and I was like, oh
my god! Like, what?
I was like, it's Marlene King. Then the next day I did Transportation Ride Along again at 7 a.m. but nothing started till 9, so I sat in a lobby for 2 hours and I got one job, to pick up a guy from the airport that was there for the Felicity reunion. He played like a minor character apparently in that show, but he was real nice actually. His name was Benedict. Apparently I think he was in Supernatural as well. But then later that day. The day that I told my mom, get a day pass, go to these. And she had one, and I'm like, if I have a shift during this time, I can't go to this, but can you go to this for me? Get photos, whatever you can. This panel I wanted to go to was at 10 o'clock. I got let out and they didn't need me for anything by 10:15. So I was about to go they had a volunteer bag and an appreciation bag. So I went over to a hall over on like 5th Street and I picked that up, and then I went down to 6th Street in the middle of the day, but still, and went to the Alamo Draft House Theater there, and I was like, if I'm a volunteer, can I get into this panel late? And they're like, yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, good. And so they were screening the TV show that was screening there, and I got in like the last 10 to 15 minutes, I think, of the entire episode, and it was hilarious. The reason I told my mom to go is because she knows I love One Tree Hill so much, but she watched it last year with me. So like, please go for me. Please get photos of James Lafferty and Stephen Coletti, Nathan Scott, and Chase Adams.
Run over there without a second to lose, and what comes next, hey, bust a move!
And she's so hot. Yeah, that's my wife.
So she did. She was sending me photos as I was in the car with the guy from Felicity, and I was trying not to freak out in the car, and I was just like, you shook his hand, you told him how much we love One Tree Hill. This is where my freak out starts. Like, get ready, I'm about to pass out. I stand at the back because it's dark and I cannot see where my mom could possibly be. And so I stand in the back and watch the episode. 5 minutes until the end of the episode, I see a crowd of people coming in from my left side. And then I spot none other in that crowd than James Lafferty. And I'm like, oh, they're getting ready to go down to the bottom and do the Q&A. But they had to wait. So I'm like, oh, they're gonna wait on the stairs like 5 feet away from me. Still freaking out. I was standing there right by the door, but also not by the door, so like a good distance away from the door. And the last 5 minutes from that crew, I see James Lafferty, and he stops and stands right next to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah!
Like my feelings, like I was feeling like this basically. Like my heart like was beating so fast.
My heart is beating so fast.
I wanted to scream and I was like tearing up. I was just like, I got stiff. I was just like, make it worse. Stephen Coletti stood on the other side of me.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
You want to make a girl pass out? Yeah. Put 2 guys that she loved from one of her favorite TV shows next to her. I swear, I got a little lightheaded, honestly.
Good Lord, I think I'm gonna pass out.
And I was about to scream and cry all at the same time. I was like, yeah, I'll faint. But I held it together and I was like laughing, like, but they're like right next to me, so it was like nervous laughter. And I was just like, and then my mom saw me, she's like, and then they got up and they went. I got next to her, I was like, they were just by me, oh my gosh. I could not function. I was just like sitting there listening. I was just like, and they're like, they're gonna come out for photos. I'm like, oh, dude, I swear to God, I need to get a photo with them. I need to get a photo with them. So we waited, and we waited for 20 minutes, and we got photos with James Lafferty and Stephen Coletti. Are you kidding me? Like my dream, my day. That day was I was in a blur that day. When James came up though, my mom, of course, pulled a cancer card. She's like, we're mother-daughter. We had cancer 2 years ago, both of us around the same time, and we watched One Tree Hill and everything. We love you and everything like that. And she's like, oh, as soon as she said the cancer thing, like he gave me a bear hug, like hugged me full on. And I was like, mother, you had the phone in your hand, take a freaking photo. And she didn't. Like, I have a photo with Justin Maldoni that's similar to that, and I'm just like, you didn't get that photo? Are you kidding me? I was like nervous. I was like, I've seen it 7 times. I'm like, that sounds creepy, but you know. When we met Steven, he said hi. It's like, hi. I was like, it's Chase. Like, Chase was there for a short period of time, but like, oh my, Chase in season 9. He was sweet. After that, my mom wanted to go to a panel for the show The Americans, and I wanted to go to a panel at the Alamo again. So we ate lunch, and I went to the panel at the Alamo, which was for the new Lifetime TV show called You, starring Penn Badgley and Shay Mitchell, and I don't know the other girl, but more for me, Penn Badgley. Now, I have seen Gossip Girl 3 times and I regret that. The third time was last year and I realized how stupid it was. I watched it back in 2014 and my opinions have drastically changed since then. So yeah, I saw that show was super stupid and super problematic.
One of the guys that was on the show was outed for sexual assault and harassment. And guess what? It's the guy who plays the character who's just like that. Girls, if you look up to the show and be like, I want a guy like Chuck Bass, or I want a relationship like Chuck and Blair's. I'm like, Chuck and Blair's relationship was freaking toxic and Chuck Bass was a pig. Bye.
And that's the thesis.
But I loved it for the reason of Dan Humphrey. That was the only character I really enjoyed. Spoiler alert, if it matters. I never really understood how he was Gossip Girl, but I loved him in Blair. I mean, still a little problematic, but least problematic. So I saw Penn Badgley, who plays Dan Humphrey, after watching the episode, which the episode of this show, I am so excited to watch in September. It is amazing. It's like a darker, like a real darker version of like Gossip Girl, I guess you could say that. Penn Badgley plays like a guy who like stalks this girl because he meets her in a bookstore and all that, and he like legit stalks her, not just on like this. So basically think of it as Gossip Girl without the socialites, and put Gossip Girl, the person who's Gossip Girl, let everyone know who it is, and then just watch them stalk everyone. And it was so cool. They talked about Gossip Girl and all his stuff, and I was like, this is amazing. Moral of the story, Gossip Girl sucks. And I had an amazing time in Austin, Texas at a TV festival, and I really wanted to do more festivals. So next year I'm going to try to do South by Southwest. I wanted to try to do Comic-Con this year, but now I'm too late. Who knows? I mean, if I can volunteer at like, there's one in Park City, I think that's Sundance. But I had so much fun and I would do it all over again. I might actually want to go back next year and volunteer. It was so much fun. So yeah, sorry it's over a month late.
I'm sorry if it's super long. I don't intend for it to be long, but I talk a lot.
Hope you enjoy hearing another story of how I met celebrity. Okay, I'm gonna end this, bye.